Joining me now is Jessica Konen and her daughter Alicia and their lawyer Eric Sell from the Center for American Liberty. Thank you three for joining us. Alicia, I want to start with you. First of all, thank you for being so open when we talk about this. If I'm not mistaken, you were only 11 years old at the time. Can you walk us through what happened at school?
Yeah, well, I just want to say thank you for having us, but I it was a scary time for me. I had to hide stuff from my mom, and it was horrible because we have such a close bond, and I didn't want that to change. And I just it was a horrible, scary time, and I wouldn't wish that on anybody else.
You know, Jessica, I'm a mother of a daughter too, and I think the number one thing that you don't want as a parent is silence and secrecy, because starting at a young age, if your kids are being quiet, it's something that you're unaware of. What was that like for you at that time, and were the counselors who were talking to Alicia also talking to you?
Well, for me, it was more so a triggering time because, like she said, our relationship has always been really close. And when you start noticing such a dramatic change, and even with her emotional status, a lot of things changed really rapidly, and it makes you really concerned as a parent. I did notice a lot when, she would get home from school that a lot of things were changing. And it was a really emotional and difficult time for us to try to work through. But ultimately, at the end, we did. And even though we've been through a lot, I would say that there's a lot of accountability on, people that my child trusted.
Eric, I want to bring you in. I want to ask you, first of all, does this set a precedent for school leaders, counselors, administrators? And is it uncommon for counselors to say, you're safe here, you don't have to bring this home to your family? Is this really happening?
Well, this settlement certainly sends a message, and this type of stuff is happening across the country, in schools across the country, in probably all 50 states. And it's tragic. It's horrific. Schools are encouraging kids to keep secrets from their parents. Schools shouldn't be doing that. Schools should be fostering a relationship between students and their parents and encouraging students to have strong family bonds. But instead, they're encouraging kids to keep secrets. And it's all rooted in policy. It's all rooted in policy that says that teachers are required to keep this stuff secret from parents unless the child tells them otherwise. But we all know that this is just a vehicle for ideology to infect our public schools. So we're hopeful that this settlement sends a message loud and clear to these school districts across the country that if you socially transition a child in secret, there's a good chance you're going to get sued, and there's a good chance you're going to have to pay a lot of money because of it.
You know, Jessica, I certainly have younger parents, or younger children, rather. I'm curious how we got here. When you and I went to school, maybe it's because we didn't have cell phones, but we went to school to go to school. We were in and we were out, right? You didn't really dilly-dally. So what is it like now for parents out there who might not have kids that are Alicia's age?
Well, I have a young child myself, also second grade, and we're dealing with it already in her classroom. And it's scary. They have, inappropriate books in their personal little school classroom libraries. They, hang some type of flags. So it brings the curiosity. It's not so much that they may be talking about the flags and different ideology right away, but they do things in a way to kind of bring the attention where a curiosity would happen. I feel that it's very dangerous for our young children, even in kindergarten, first grade, second grade.
Right.
I really pray for the parents to get involved in the schools, get involved in the classrooms, the teachers. It's a scary, scary world out there.
Alicia, before I let you go, and I know you're at a new school now, probably in an environment where you feel more comfortable, but at the time, explain to us before we let you go, what you felt, what you were going through, and the pressures that maybe you wouldn't have had if there weren't an adult in the room.
Well, like I've said before, it was horrible, but I was scared and I was confused. And overall, I had no idea who I was. I was completely stuck in an identity that was false. But as soon as I moved to a different school, I eventually learned that I was a girl and I was Alicia. And that's who I was. And that's who I always was. It was just masked with a false identity.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.